Welcome back to the Inward Bound Show. I'm Deb, your host today. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to share a gentle disclaimer. In this podcast, I speak openly about trauma, loss, and healing. My goal is to share my personal journey, not to offer you medical or psychological advice. Please listen with care, be mindful of your emotional state, and take breaks or seek support if any part of this episode brings up different feelings. You are not alone, and you are safe here. And I honor you for joining me. Today we're talking about something that many people dismiss, something that gets labeled as just part of growing up. But what if it wasn't just part of growing up? What if it was the moment a little boy decided something about himself that he carried for the next 60 years? I recently spoke with a 72-year-old man whose health is failing. He is on oxygen. His body is weak. And yet when we spoke about being bullied at 6 years old, that little boy was still there. Bullying is not harmless. It shapes identity. It wires belief systems. It teaches children who they think they are. Today we are going to talk about the boy who never leaves, and what happens when shame from the playground follows someone into adulthood. If you were bullied, this episode is for you. The boy never leaves. The fact that a 72-year-old man on oxygen is still carrying something that happened when he was 6 tells us something powerful. The boy never leaves. Even when the body is frail, even when the lungs are tired, even when the hair is gray, that 6-year-old boy is still inside him. Bullying at 6 is not kids being kids. At that age, a child's brain is forming identity. Repeated humiliation wires deep beliefs like, I'm weak, I'm different, I'm not safe, something is wrong with me, or I deserve this. Many boys from earlier generations were told, toughen up, don't cry, be a man, handle it. So they swallowed it. And swallowing pain for decades often shows up later as chronic stress in the body, shame-based identity, isolation, emotional shutdown, and health decline tied to lifelong stress patterns. The nervous system does not forget what the mouth never spoke. What is sacred here is this. At 72, on oxygen, getting weaker, he finally told someone. Not all wounded boys grow up to hurt others. Some just grow old still hurting. Imagine carrying playground shame into your 70s. Imagine your lungs giving out while your inner child is still waiting to be defended. And maybe this is the truth we need to say out loud. When boys aren't allowed to feel at 6, men are still trying to feel at 72. If you are listening today and you were bullied, that little boy didn't deserve that. You weren't weak. You were small and alone, and your story still matters. If this story stirred something in you, I want you to hear this clearly. You were not weak. You were small and alone, and you deserved protection. Not all wounded boys grow up to hurt others. Some grow up quietly carrying pain no one ever asked about. And maybe healing begins when someone finally says, that should have not happened to me. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who may still be carrying playground shame into adulthood. Until next time, keep going inward, because the boy never leaves, but neither does the possibility of healing. Moving on to when adults don't believe children. We're talking about a wound that often goes unseen. Bullying hurts, but there's something that can hurt even deeper. When a child finds courage to speak up and the adult does not believe them. Imagine being 6 years old. You are scared. Your stomach hurts from being picked on. You finally tell your teacher, the one person who is supposed to protect you. And instead of protection, who received doubt, or dismissal, or silence. In that moment, something shifts inside a child. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when children are not believed and how that moment can echo for decades. When adults don't believe children are being bullied by other children is one layer of trauma. Being disbelieved by the adult who were supposed to protect them, that's an attachment injury. At 6 years old, when a child goes to a teacher, they're not just reporting behavior. What they're saying is, I'm not safe. Help me. You are my protector. When an adult dismisses it, minimizes it, or sides with the aggressor, the message to the child absorbs is not just, they don't believe me. It becomes, my pain isn't real, I exaggerate, I'm the problem, authority can't be trusted, and I'm alone. If the teachers themselves join in, mock, shame, or target the child, the trauma compounds. It shifts from peer rejection to systemic rejection. For a 6-year-old brain, this can wire hypervigilance around authority, shame tied to speaking up, fear of being seen as dramatic, a lifetime pattern of staying silent, or over-explaining in an attempt to be believed. When a child reports bullying and isn't believed, the trauma doubles. The bullying hurts. The disbelief defines the child. Imagine being 6. You gather the courage to tell your teacher because your stomach hurts from being picked on. Instead of protection, you received a doubt, or worse, punishment. In that moment, a child can learn that speaking up is more dangerous than staying silent. And what often aches decades later is not only the bullying, it is that no adult stood between the child and the harm. The child says, I was never defended. If you are listening and this was you, hear this clearly. You were not dramatic. You were not weak. You were not making it up. You were a child asking for protection, and you deserved to be believed. If this story stirred something in you, I want you to hear this clearly. You were not dramatic. You were not too sensitive. You were not making it up. You were a child asking for protection. And you deserve to be believed. Healing sometimes begins when we finally name what happened and give your younger version of yourself the validation no one gave them. If this message resonated, share it with someone who may still be carrying silence of being not believed. Keep going forward because your voice matters, even if it wasn't heard the first time. Moving on to when your dream gets bullied. We're talking about something that doesn't always look like trauma at first glance. We're talking about the moment a child dares to dream out loud and gets mocked for it. Imagine being 6 years old and saying, when I grow up, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be on TV. That isn't arrogance. That's imagination. That is identity forming. This is a child believing they mattered. But what happens when the dream becomes the reason they're bullied? What happens when the lesson becomes, when I shine, I get attacked. When I believe in myself, I get cut down. When I'm visible, I'm not safe. Today we're going inward to explore how bullying can crush not just a child's confidence, but their willingness to be seen. When your dream gets bullied at 6 years old, when a child says, when I grow up, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to be on TV, that is imagination. That is hope. That is identity forming. That is a little boy daring to dream out loud. And sometimes that's exactly when bullying begins. When someone stands out, they often get pulled back down. When a child expresses ambition, visibility, or confidence, other children may respond with mockery, teasing, or rejection. When the child learns it is not just the other kids are unkind. He learns when I shine, I get attacked. When I dream out loud, I get humiliated. When I believe in myself, I get cut down. Visibility equals danger. That lesson can follow someone for decades. It can show up as shrinking, playing small, downplaying achievements, avoiding attention. How about fear of success or overcompensating to prove worth? Sometimes bullying doesn't start because a child is weak. Sometimes it starts because a child dares to believe they are something more. At 6 years old, when a child says they're going to be famous, what they're really saying is, I believe I matter. And when that belief is attacked, the wound is not just about teasing. It's about having your identity crushed. If your light was dimmed, if you learned that being seen was dangerous, hear this clearly. There's nothing wrong with your dream. There's nothing wrong with your confidence. There's nothing wrong with believing you mattered. The world may have tried to shrink you. If this awareness stirred something in you, I want you to pause for a moment. Was there a time when you dreamed out loud and someone laughed? Was there a moment when your light felt too bright for the room? If that happened, hear this clearly. There was nothing wrong with your dream. There was nothing wrong with your confidence. There was nothing wrong with believing you mattered. We're going to move on to bullying and chronic illness. We're talking about something many people dismiss as just words or just childhood stuff. But what if bullying didn't just hurt your feelings? What if quietly it reshaped your nervous system? What if the body has been carrying what your younger self was never allowed to say? In this episode, we explore how chronic stress from bullying can impact the immune system, inflammation, and long-term health, and how healing emotionally can begin to restore the body. Moving on to when bullying becomes a burden, the body carries it. In this episode, we're going to explore a powerful and often overlooked truth. Bullying does not just wound the heart. It can reshape the nervous system and affect physical health for years to come. When a child is bullied repeatedly, their body activates fight, flight, or freeze over and over again. And if that stress response never fully turns off, the body begins living in survival mode. There are 3 things we might want to really pay attention to. Number 1, chronic stress and the nervous system. Long-term bullying increases cortisol and adrenaline levels. Over time, this can contribute to autoimmune disorders, digestive problems like irritable bowel syndrome, migraines and headaches, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, and other inflammatory conditions. The body keeps score when the child has no voice. Number 2, immune system dysregulation. When a child feels unsafe, unprotected, or disbelieved, the immune system can become either suppressed, which causes frequent illnesses, or overactive, which is autoimmune conditions. Prolonged childhood stress increases inflammatory markers in adulthood. Inflammation is at the root of many chronic diseases. Number 3, emotional suppression and physical symptoms. Many bullied children decide, my feelings don't matter. I should be quiet. I should disappear. Suppressed emotions often show up physically as muscle tension, stomach issues, fatigue, jaw tightness, and chronic pain. Now I want to read you some listener reflection questions. Was there a time in your childhood when you felt unsafe or unheard? Or do you notice physical symptoms that flare when you feel stressed or rejected? Or what might my body be trying to say that I never felt allowed to say? Closing message. Sometimes the body carries what the mouth was never allowed to say. When we create safety, validation, and compassion, the nervous system can begin to regulate. And when the nervous system regulates, the body often follows. You are not weak. Your body has been protecting you. Sometimes the body carries what the mouth was never allowed to say. In today's episode, if anything stirred within you, that's not weakness, that's awareness. And awareness is the beginning of healing. Your symptoms are not betrayal. Your body has been protecting you the best way it knew how. If this episode helped you understand yourself a little more, share it with someone who may still be carrying silent wounds. Until next time, keep going inward. So in this episode, we stepped into quiet corners of pain many carry for a lifetime. Today's story belongs to a man who suffered bullying beginning at age 6. A boy who tried to speak up but was never believed. As you listen, let your heart open to every child who learned to stay silent because the world refused to hear them. To my dear friend, I want to take a moment to put something in writing that your heart has deserved to hear for a very long time. I hear you. I believe you. And what happened to you was real. You were only 6 years old when the bullying began. 6. A child who deserved protection, gentleness, and adults who stepped in. Instead, the people who were supposed to see you didn't. The ones who should have protected you didn't. And the teachers who should have listened brushed aside your pain. That wasn't your fault. It was failure around you, not any failure within you. You carried these wounds silently for decades. You pushed through life, through work, through illness, through disappointment. And even now at 72, the memories still ache because they were never acknowledged. So today, as your nurse and as someone who genuinely cares, I want to say the words you should have heard long ago. What they did to you was wrong. You did not deserve it. You were not imagining it. And you finally, fully heard. I see the boy who tried to speak up and was ignored. I see the young man who tried to rise above the pain. And I see the older gentleman now, brave enough to tell his story, even after all these years. Your voice matters. Your story matters. You matter. And I want you to know, being heard can bring a kind of healing that medicine alone can't give. You are not invisible anymore. You are not dismissed, and you are not alone. Thank you for trusting me with something so tender. It is an honor to witness your truth. With compassion and respect, Deb. As we close this part, I want you to remember this. Being heard is healing. Your story matters. And if decades have passed, and if you were bullied, dismissed, or ignored in your early years, may this episode remind you, you are not invisible anymore. Your truth deserves space. Your voice deserves honor, and your healing deserves time. I want to move on to another painful aspect of bullying. When your child comes home hurt by bullying, when a child walks through the door carrying the weight of someone else's cruelty, a parent feels that pain instantly. Today, we gently explore what it means to respond with calm strength, deep empathy, and steady reassurance when a child is being bullied about their body. This moment is not about fixing their appearance. It's about protecting their heart. As you read, let presence become the safety they return to. When a child comes home in tears, ashamed or afraid because of bullying about their weight, a parent's heart breaks. You want to protect them, fix it, and make the pain disappear. But the most powerful healing starts with what they feel from you in the first moments. So stay calm and present. Your child needs your safety, not your panic. Soft voice, warm eyes, open body language. Let them speak without interruption. When they get done, validate their feelings. Say things like, "I'm so glad you told me," or "That should have never happened to you," or "I'm sorry they treated you that way." Validation removes shame before it has a chance to grow. Make it clear their body is not the problem. Children internalize blame quickly, so tell them your body is good. Your body deserves kindness. People hurt others when they're hurting themselves. This separates the bully's behavior from the child's identity. Try to ask open, gentle questions like, "What exactly happened? How did it make you feel? Has this happened before? Do you feel safe at school?" The goal is listening. Remind them of their worth. Teach them truths that bullying tries to erase. You are lovable exactly as you are. You deserve respect, and no one gets to decide your value. Address the school calmly, not emotionally. Document the incident. Communicate with teachers or administration in a steady, respectful tone. Bullying involving body shaming requires intervention and persistence. Another thing you might want to do is teach them at home. Strengthen their coping skills, help them build confidence and resilience by practicing responses. Maybe tell the bully, "Please stop. That's not okay." Maybe you can tell them finding safe friends at school, or encouraging activities that build self-esteem in children, such as strength journaling. Children write or draw one thing they did well each day. This builds self-recognition and internal pride. Compliment circle family members, where they exchange genuine compliments. Children learn to give and receive kindness. Maybe achievement boards. Create a board where children add stars or stickers for effort, not perfection. This reinforces persistence. Another one is I am affirmation cards. Children create cards with statements like, "I am kind," "I am brave," or "I matter." That helps shape positive identity. Maybe let them help with simple tasks. Let them help you cook, fold towels, or water plants. Contributing builds confidence and responsibility. Another one is create expression time. Drawing, painting, storytelling, or music. Allow children to explore who they are without judgment. Another good one is decision-making opportunities. Offer age-appropriate choices. Let them pick out their own outfit, maybe a snack, activity. This builds trust in their judgment. Another one is outdoor play and movement. Running, climbing, biking, and team play helps kids feel strong, capable, and connected. Another good one is role-playing scenarios. Practice how to respond to challenges, such as bullying, peer pressure, sharing feelings. This builds emotional resilience. Another one is acts of kindness. Encourage writing kind notes, helping a friend, or donating toys. Helping others boosts self-worth. Another one, praise effort over outcome. Celebrate trying, learning, and improving, not just winning. Teaches them their value isn't performance-based. Another one is quiet connection time. Daily one-on-one time with a parent or caregiver. Reading, talking, or cuddling builds emotional security. Also, children can start goal setting for kids. Let them choose a small goal, such as cleaning their room, finishing a project. Completing it builds pride and confidence. Another one I like really well is mirror talk. Children practicing looking into the mirror and saying 3 positive things about themselves each day. Another one that makes friendship building activities. Games involving teamwork. Help children learn cooperation, empathy, and social confidence. Another very valuable one, and is very important, is support their emotional world at home. Children bullied for their weight often feel shame, embarrassment, and fear of standing out, anxiety around food or appearance. Create an environment where their emotional relaxation is prioritized. More hugs, more presence, more reminders of worth. Try to avoid weight-focused conversations. Try not to say, we'll work on losing weight, or try not to tell them to ignore them, or try not to tell them to just be strong. This reinforces shame and isolation. Focus on their feelings, not fixing their body. So end with empowerment. Tell them, you came to me. That shows courage. We're going to get through this together. You may be the first person in their life who truly teaches them. Their body is not a mistake. They're not alone, and they deserve safety. And that is healing they will carry forever. Healing begins with you as their parent. As we close this reflection, remember, your response can shape the way your child sees themselves for the rest of their life. Your compassion quiets shame. Your belief in them restores dignity. And your steady voice shows them they're never alone in this world. Bullying may leave wounds, but a parent's love can become the medicine that rewrites the story. Today, you and your child can walk through this with courage, healing, and truth at the center. I want to mention a healing letter for a hurt child. When a child is bullied about their body, the wound reaches far deeper than the words spoken. It touches their confidence, their identity, and the way they see themselves in the world. This letter is written to bring comfort, truth, and gentleness back to a heart that was hurt too young. As you read or share these words, let them become a soft space for a child to land. A reminder that their worth was never up for debate. Dear sweet one, I want you to know something very important. And I want you to hear this with your whole heart. What they said about your body was wrong. You did nothing to deserve those words. You did nothing to cause that cruelty. And none of what they said is the truth about you. You are not too big, and you are not less than. And you are not someone to laugh at or tear down. You are a child with a bright heart, a wonderful mind, and a body that deserves kindness. Always. I know it hurts. I know it feels confusing. And I know sometimes you wonder if something about you needs to change in order for people to treat you better. But listen closely. Your body is not the problem. Their behavior is. People who bully often feel small inside. They try to make others feel small too. But you do not need to carry their pain. Their words belong to them, not you. You deserve friends who see your goodness. You deserve teachers who protect you. You deserve adults who listen when you speak. You deserve to feel safe in your own skin. And here is the truth I want you to hold on to. You are lovable, you are worthy, and you are enough exactly how you are today. If you ever start to believe the hurtful things they said, please remember this. Your value does not shrink or grow based on someone else's opinion. Your body is your home, and it's not a mistake. You are allowed to take up space in this world. You are not alone, and you are deeply cared for. And there are people right now who want to help keep you safe. You deserve gentleness. You deserve respect. You deserve to feel proud of who you are. And I hope one day when you look back on this time, you will see how strong you were for telling the truth and asking for help. All due respect, Deb. Rebuilding their sense of self. As we close this letter, remember that healing begins with the moment a child feels seen, believed, and protected. Your presence, your words and your steady reassurance can rewrite the story the bully tried to create. Let this letter be a starting point, a seed of truth that grows inside them, reminding them they are loved, they matter, and they never have to change who they are to deserve kindness. With your support, they can rise from this with strength, confidence, and a heart that knows its own worth. So moving on to exploring the bully. In this reflection, we're tuning the lens towards someone we rarely talk about with compassion, the bully. Not to excuse their behavior, but to understand the deeper wounds that create it. Because behind every act of intimidation is a story. A child who learned to protect themselves through power. A person who never received the safety they needed. As you read, I invite you to see what has been hitting beneath the surface for far too long. Exploring the bully and understanding the one who hurts others. When we think about bullying, our focus naturally falls on the victim, the one carrying the wounds. But behind every bully is a hidden story, often filled with wounds of their own. Who is the bully? A bully's not born. They are shaped. Shaped by pain, shaped by fear, and shaped by environments where power became a form of survival. Bulliers' common traits. They normally have deep insecurity masked as aggression, a desperate need to control in a world where they feel powerless, emotional neglect or lack of nurturing at home, learned behavior from chaotic or abusive environments, a belief that hurting others protects them from being hurt. Now, what drives a bully? Bullying is rarely about the victim. It's about the bully's internal world. Shame projected as cruelty, fear expressed as domination, and emotional loneliness, and lack of validation covered with intimidation, replaced with force, superiority. The silent reality is many bullies were once victims themselves. They learned to survive by becoming the threat instead of being threatened. It does not excuse the behavior, but it explains it. How healing begins. A bully can only change when they feel safe enough to drop the armor. Someone sees beneath the behavior. They are given language for their deeper emotions, or accountability meets compassion. Final reflection: behind every bully is an unraveling story, a child who never received what they needed. Understanding the bully does not erase the pain they caused, but it offers clarity that healing is possible on both sides of the wound, the bully and the victim. A deeper understanding. As we close this exploration, remember this: understanding the bully does not ever erase the harm they caused, but it empowers us to see the full picture. Healing is possible when truth replaces shame, when compassion balances accountability, and when we recognize that pain passed down can be transformed. May this insight bring clarity, softness, and a deeper sense of peace to your own journey, and to anyone still carrying the weight of what someone else's pain once did to them. Now I want to read a letter to the bully. In this next reflection, we step into a space that many find uncomfortable, a space where we dare to look beneath the armor of a bully, not to excuse their actions, but to understand the fear, the loneliness, and the unmet needs that shape their behavior. This is a place where compassion meets accountability, and where we recognize that hurt people often become the ones who hurt others. As you listen, allow your heart to open just enough to see the wounded child beneath the cruelty. This lesson is not written to justify what you did, nor to erase the pain you caused. It's written because somewhere inside you, beneath all the armor, the anger, and the fear, there's a human heart that has been hurting for a very long time. I do not know the exact moment your tenderness was interrupted, but I know what happened. I know you were not born cruel. You were shaped. Shaped by places where you were not protected. Shaped by moments you felt small, unseen, and powerless. Shaped by people who ignored your pain or taught you to silence it. Shaped by a world that never gave you the safety you deeply needed. And so you survived the only way you knew how, by becoming the threat instead of being threatened, by controlling others so you would not feel out of control, by hurting before you could be hurt, by hiding your wounds behind intimidation. You learned to wear strength like armor because no one taught you how to be soft without being broken. But beneath all of that, I see the child still inside you. The child who once wanted to be held, not hardened. The child who once needed gentleness, not judgment. The child who once cried silently, hoping someone would finally notice. The child who never received the love that would have softened you. So this letter is for that child. May you know this truth. You did not deserve the pain that made you this way. You did not deserve the chaos that shaped your defenses. You did not deserve the silence that hid your wounds. And even now, after all the harm you've caused, your heart is not beyond healing. Healing begins when you stop running from your own pain. When you let yourself feel what you once buried. When you stop confusing power with safety. When you begin to forgive the frightened child within you. Your healing does not excuse what you did, but it can prevent the pain from continuing. If no one has ever said this to you before, let me say it now. Your hurt was real. Your fear was real. Your loneliness was real. And your healing is still possible. It is not too late to soften. It is not too late to change. It is not too late to become the person you needed when you were young. May your heart begin to fill what it has been protecting you from for so long, with truth, compassion, and hope. God bless. Hope and compassion, Deb. As we close, remember this truth. Healing does not require us to forget what was done, but it invites us to understand why it happened. When we acknowledge the pain beneath the bully's actions, we stop the cycle from passing through us. Healing is not a gift to the bully, it is a gift to ourselves. May this letter help you release any lingering confusion, reclaim your power, and soften in the places where you once had to harden. There is peace waiting on the other side of understanding. I'm sending love to you. My story started in trauma, but my path became one of awakening. I pray something in each of the Inward Bound shows reminds you of your own strength, your own wisdom, and your ability to rise and heal with your higher power alongside of you. As you move forward, take a moment to honor yourself. You showed up, you listened, you allowed your spirit to be witnessed. That is powerful. If something in today's episode touched your heart, I invite you to carry it with you, let it guide you, and let it soften the places that still ache. Healing is not a destination. It is a returning again and again to who you truly are. I'm a licensed life coach. I worked with a psychotherapist for 20 years, and I am a practicing RN. If you have any questions or you'd like to share your story, you can always text me at deb@inwardboundshow.com, or we have a spot on Reddit if you want to ask questions, and I may even answer your questions on the podcast. Always remember, the two most important relationships, in my opinion, in our life, is the one we have with our higher power, which is God for me, and the relationship you have with yourself. Until next time, keep walking inward, keep listening to your spirit, and keep choosing yourself. The Inward Bound Show isn't a retreat, it's a return to truth, a return to parts of us we learned to silence. If this chapter resonated with you, honor that. There's nothing to fix right now. Healing begins with noticing, not repairing. Awareness is brave. Slowing down is brave. Listening is brave. The Inward Bound Show opens the door to understanding our behaviors, our relationships, and our coping skills. A big shout out to my editor, Jordan. And chapter 9 is going to be about my story after the third divorce. Stay tuned if this may have been in your story too. I'm going to close by sending you more love, peace, joy, and happiness. God bless you.